Hi everybody, welcome to lesson 5.2 on multiplying and dividing rational expressions. We're going to divide in this video. In the last video we did some multiplication. So remember, when we're dividing rational expressions, you multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so if I'm dividing 1/2 or dividing 1/2 by 3/4, right, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, okay, of the second fraction. And then you do the same thing you did with multiplication, and you can see that 2 goes into itself once, 2 goes into 4 twice, and you get 2/3 when you complete that product. That's the idea we're going to take into the next example. Okay, so let's look at two examples here. And we have 4x cubed, okay, over 9x squared y times, or excuse me, divided by, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and flip it. Right? Let's just go ahead and flip it to save some space here. Okay? We're dividing by 16 over 9y squared, which is the same thing as multiplying by 9y to the 5th over 16. So you can start maybe by simplifying the numbers first. Look, 4 goes into itself once. 4 goes into 16 4 times. Okay? 9 goes into itself once. This goes to 1. This goes to 1. Okay? Now, we have x cubed up here, we have x squared, we have a y, and we have y. Okay, so these two x squareds, I don't want to say 2x squareds, the x squared in the denominator is going to cancel and just leave me 1x in the numerator. This 1y in the denominator is going to cancel with one of those in the numerator. And so I think we have everything. It looks like the numerator is just going to be y to the 4th. Okay, both of that is gone, and we're going to have, oh, an x up here, right? There's our x, don't want to miss that, xy to the 4th, all divided by 4. Okay, and so there's our final answer. Now in the second one, we're going to do some factoring like we did in the second one with multiplying. Okay, so we're going to leave it. So we have x to the 5th minus 4x cubed over x squared minus x minus 2 divided by this whole thing. So let's start by factoring. X to the 5th and 4x cubed, they share an x cubed. Okay, and we're left with x squared, so it's GCF minus 4. Okay, and we're going to divide that by, well, two numbers that multiply to be -2 and add to be -1 are x minus 2 and x plus 1. Okay, and now we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, so we're going to have x squared minus 1. Okay, over x to the 5th minus x to the 4th minus 2x cubed. Okay, so I've already factored the first thing, and so I'm going to move down here and I'm going to factor my second one. So the whole first fraction is just going to stay the same. So we're going to have just x cubed, okay, times x squared minus 4, okay, and x plus 2, or excuse me, sorry, not x plus 2. And you know what we're going to do? Let's go back up here. We're going to factor this numerator too. Okay, we talked about that. It's x squared minus 4. That's a difference of two squares pattern. So I'll put that in red. That's going to be x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay. And we have x minus 2 times x plus 1. So now factor the right side. Difference of two squares here, two numbers that multiply to be -1 and add to be 0 are x plus 1 times x minus 1. So we're assuming that you're able to factor here with polynomials and in quadratics specifically. Notice in the bottom here, x cubed is common, so we're going to pull that out. Okay, and we're going to have x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, and it looks like we can factor that out again. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to factor this inside here. So we got one more thing to factor. So you have x cubed. Everything else I'm going to stay the same. I'm just factoring right now. I'm not doing anything else. Okay? And maybe we'll run out of room. I'm not sure. Let's see. So the numerator stays the same. X plus 1, x minus 1 over x cubed. Two numbers that multiply to be -2 and add to be -1 are x minus 2 times x plus 1. All right, whew, got all that written now. Now it's time to simplify. Okay, so now we have the x cubed and this x cubed are gone. You have an x plus 1 here and an x plus 1 here. You can also look vertically. So look, x minus 2, x minus 2. And we have an x plus 2 here, x minus 2, x plus 1, x minus, so there's nothing else I can do. So my final answer ends up being x plus 2 times x minus 1, all divided by x minus 2 times x plus 1. Okay, so that's dividing polynomials, and we're going to work more with this in class, but I just want to give you a heads up, and you can notice there's a lot of factoring involved here. So we're going to rely on that skill from previous sections. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and we'll see you next time, guys.